Ford government tables its latest budget with an emphasis on protecting Ontario's economy. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Finance Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy delivered the budget this afternoon at Queen's Park.
Premier Doug Ford was re-elected with a mandate to protect Ontario from ongoing economic threats from the United States. And as CTV's Siobhan Morris reports, that's what this budget aims to do.
It's called A Plan to Protect Ontario, mirroring the Progressive Conservative campaign slogan in a world unsteadied by tariffs.
It'll be a great budget.
A hit from the U.S. the finance minister sees as a wake-up call.
Ontario and all of Canada are at a precipice, and we need to take serious steps to make sure we do not find ourselves anywhere near the bottom.
That includes pushing a balanced budget to the back burner. In last year's budget, the plan was for a $4.6 billion deficit this year. Now that hole is $10 billion deeper. Think $14.6 billion. The government projected a small surplus next fiscal year. Instead, it's $7.8 billion in the hole, with a projected surplus in 2027-2028. The budget includes some $30 billion in tariff relief measures, among them $9 billion worth of tax deferrals, up to $5 billion into a Protecting Ontario account to help companies, $50 million for a fund to help companies retool, find new markets, and reshore their supply chains, $40 million to help organizations hit by tariffs, and $20 million to train and support laid-off workers. But will it be enough to keep Ontario out of a recession?
I'm not going to speculate on what may happen. We're trying to fortify and immunize Ontario as best possible.
The budget bakes in help for drivers, making a cut to the gas tax permanent and taking tolls off Highway 407 between Pickering and Clarington.
This budget talks a lot about cars and infrastructure, doesn't talk a lot about actually investing in people.
The finance minister defends his approach.
People go out and spend it. Businesses reinvest in their business. They hire more people. That's stimulative for the economy.
The government plans to spend almost $233 billion over the next year. The biggest chunk, $91 billion, or 39%, goes to health care. Next is $44 billion to other programs and $41 billion on education. The opposition sees this budget as a Band-Aid.
It makes $1.2 billion in cuts to post-secondary education. It doubles down on housing failures. And there are no solutions for communities with closed emergency rooms and delayed hospitals.
Revenue from the LCBO and taxes on booze are down since alcohol sales have been allowed in convenience stores.
Ontario is losing $400 million in revenue that could have gone and should have gone to schools and hospitals.
The government says people are drinking less, and pulling U.S. booze off LCBO shelves is having an effect.
Ontario is pouring tens of millions of dollars into the alcohol marketplace in the coming years, trying to increase the share of Ontario grapes in blended wines, and there are tax cuts for microbrewers and distillers. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Specific to northwestern Ontario, the 2025 budget also includes a $50 million investment to move forward with planning for a new Lake of the Woods hospital in Kenora. The Ministry of Natural Resources has declared that a restricted fire zone is being put in place in the western part of the Northwest region. The fire ban will go into effect just after midnight tonight. The MNR says all resources are needed to focus managing the current fire load. As a result, all burning permits are suspended and open-air burning is banned, including campfires. The restricted fire zone stretches from Quetico Park to the Manitoba border and north to Red Lake and Pickle Lake. The zone does not include the Thunder Bay District. Meanwhile, the fire hazard across the region has dropped from extreme to medium to high due to rain and cooler weather. Evacuations remain in effect in Wabsumung First Nation north of Kenora and Saugeen Ojibwe Nation north of Ignace due to nearby forest fires which continue to threaten those communities.
The Thunder Bay and District Humane Society has announced it's joining forces with the Ontario SPCA to enhance support for animals in this region.
Once the merger is completed in 2026, the local animal shelter will be able to access provincial resources and administrative support. Jessica Clement explains.
For decades, the Thunder Bay and District Humane Society and the Ontario Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals have worked together to tackle the unique needs of animals in northwestern Ontario. Their history, along with their mutual dedication to improving animal welfare, are just some of the reasons why both organizations have decided to merge.
This exciting step is to strengthen and grow animal welfare programs and community support services that the Thunder Bay and District Humane Society is already providing the community.
Humane Society Executive Director Shauna Beaulieu says there are a lot of great resources coming their way, including additional staff training and program expansions.
We are looking at increasing our food distribution, pet food distribution, more access to care for the animals that we serve, to have better outlets for animals as well for adoption. We're going to be working in a network with over 12 centers instead of one. So that movement, now that adoptions are quite a bit slower, to be able to transfer animals and have them adopted quicker is just going to be, it's a great opportunity.
Local staff will continue working out of the Roslyn Road headquarters, which will continue to carry the Thunder Bay and District Humane Society name. 2 of the local board members will now join the Ontario SPCA board. Beaulieu says overall, the merger will have a huge impact on animal welfare in the north.
There's a humane education piece that we'll be rolling out here, which will be really helpful for children to learn a lot about compassion and animals, as well as our staff being more supported. So having departments that as a small organization we haven't had in the past.
The merger will be finalized in January 2026. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Thunder Bay Police have charged a 25-year-old male taxi driver with sexual assault and assault following an incident just after 1:30 this morning. A female passenger reported that she was sexually assaulted by the driver. The victim was sent to hospital for assessment and treatment. The accused appeared in court today.
The fire chief and the mayor of Oliver Papoonge are meeting with the public this week to discuss the potential closure of 2 fire stations around the municipality.
Consultants were also on hand at the first open house in Roslyn to speak about the plans for a new station in that part of Oliver Papoonge. Ryan Graham reports.
The preferred option is to reduce the number of fire halls in Oliver Papoonge from 6 to 4, with the existing ones in the Intilla area and the Stanley Station to shut down over the next few years. The plans also include replacing the aging fire hall on Roslyn Road with a new station on Highway 130 next to the municipal office. In the upcoming weeks, Oliver Papoonge will have the chance to review and potentially move forward with the plans. Officials at this open house believe the impact of the changes, from a fire response standpoint, will be minimal.
This is an open house. We had a master plan done in 2023. One of the recommendations in that master plan was to do a feasibility study on the fire station locations. That feasibility study was completed, and this is an open house for the public to have an opportunity to come in and voice concerns, make comments, so that council can make a decision on the recommendations.
Really from there, it's, any decisions that come from this report will be decisions of council. So, I'm sure council in their wisdom will take this information away, public opinion, comments, and through consultation with the chief, they will ultimately decide where this report goes and if there is any outcome from the report.
No one that we spoke to at this open house wanted to do a TV interview to express any concerns about the plans. Oliver Papoonge Mayor Lucy Klusterhuis says everyone's opinions are being heard and taken into consideration.
They're talking about some of the closures that might happen. They haven't been decided yet, what the effects will be. They're also talking about the location for the new fire hall and where they think it should be instead of where we are looking at presently. So we're just kind of investigating everything and digging around, seeing what people think.
Ryan Graham, TBT News.
And a second open house is underway at this hour at the Murillo Community Hall. That session runs until 8 o'clock.
Thunder Bay Superior North MP Patty Haidu says she's excited to tackle her new role as Federal Minister of Jobs and Families.
It's the 5th cabinet post for Haidu in the past 10 years, although this one is very similar to the portfolio she held from 2017 to 2019. Justin Hardy reports.
The Ministry of Jobs and Families was created this year. It consolidates all positions associated with employment, social development, workforce development, labor, families, children, seniors, citizen services, and diversity, inclusion, and persons with disabilities into a single portfolio. Haidu has been a federal minister since 2015 in a number of roles, some of which are now included in her new ministry. She says she's ready to get started.
There are aspects of this portfolio I know very well. I was the Minister of Employment, Workforce Development and Labor before, so I have proficiency in understanding the labor code and labor disputes and labor relations, obviously strong relationships with unions and employers. And have actually contributed to a number of different federal employment laws that have changed the landscape over the last 10 years.
Prior to her new role, Haidu's most recent cabinet post was as Minister of Indigenous Services. That ministry is being taken over by Mandy Golmasti, a Cree MP from Quebec. Haidu says she's proud of the work she's done in that role for the past 3 years, and she's excited to see what Golmasti brings.
She will be able to further those relationships. There are a number of priority areas for the government, but a number of priority areas for that minister. And I have told her I will be there to support her as she wishes and as she needs, but I have every confidence she is going to be an exemplary minister. And it's a really strong statement, I think, by the Government of Canada that First Nations leadership is important in these very sort of traditional colonial roles.
Haidu has also regained her role as minister responsible for FedNor, which she held from 2021 until just before the federal election was called in March. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
A powerful show of unity and healing took to the streets of Thunder Bay today. Dozens gathered for the Moosehide Walk, a national movement to end violence against women and children and foster reconciliation with Indigenous communities. Participants wore the symbolic moosehide pin and clothes as they walked for safety, respect, and change. The walk, hosted by the District Health Unit, began at the Ontario Native Women's Building on Ray Boulevard and made its way down Oliver Road to Lakehead University. The walk was followed by a gathering with guest speakers, live music, and cultural traditions like drum circles. Onwa Sexual Violence Awareness Coordinator Matthew Riche has been helping organize the local walk for the past 3 years.
And it's really about coming together as a community to ending violence against all people, but especially to look at the amount of violence that Indigenous women face every day. You see it's spread throughout the country. I see a lot of people in Thunder Bay wearing the moosehide.
To be able to just bring like awareness to how Indigenous women go missing a lot, and just to show that people are here, and if people are missing, that we're here.
People are encouraged to wear a square of moosehide as a symbol of their commitment to ending violence against women and children.
The Mary J.L. Black Library hosted a heartwarming event this morning. Puppy Perks Storytime gives young children the opportunity to learn about, pet, and play with puppies. This session, held in partnership with Positively Social Canine Adventures, created an adorable and memorable experience for all who attended. The goal of the session was to teach children how to safely approach and interact with puppies and dogs, as well as how to recognize key canine body language and signals. Just as importantly, the experience benefited the puppies, helping them learn to socialize with children and people in general. By understanding these signs and practicing gentle, respectful interaction, the kids can develop a lifelong love for dogs while feeling safe and confident around them. Owner of Positively Social, Tammy Williams, explains just how important programs like these are.
I think it's really important that they understand body language, and they know how they should be meeting dogs, because children and dogs sometimes are a great mix, and sometimes they're kind of a not so great mix, just because children and dogs don't understand the same language, and sometimes puppies don't understand that children are just really, really excited, and sometimes children don't understand that puppies and dogs are really, really excited. So it's important for them to know how to interact safely with each other.
Miss, I had to be a doggy doctor.
And did you have fun playing with the doggies?
Yes.
Yes? What was your favorite doggy?
The poodle.
Positively Social will be hosting another Puppy Perks Storytime event at Mary J.L. Black Library on June the 5th.
What a great event that
Very
is, Haley. I
cute.
know you and I are both animal lovers. Fiona, obviously, so are you.
And I was not invited.
Well,
Another one.
I could use some practice.
I'm sure they would welcome you anytime. Maybe not the best day out there today if you want to take your dog for a walk. We did get some mist and it was pretty foggy out there.
It's very foggy. Actually, it was very foggy last night too. I went for a walk with my dog, went around a corner, and suddenly I couldn't see 20 feet in front of me. So that was a bit of the forebearer of the system that is moving through, which is actually rather large. If we take a look at it, you can see there's still a lot to the west, but so far the brunt of it has stayed mainly to the south during the day, but coming off the lake, it's giving us a lot of fog and mist. But you can see that we've got little bits popping up in northwestern Ontario, but it's just the beginning. There is a lot that will be moving through for tonight and into tomorrow. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we started the day with some early morning drizzle, and then as Ryan noted, fog and mist, winds from the east-northeast, 16 to 35 kilometers per hour. That was after an early morning low of 10 Celsius. We only warmed up 4 degrees to 14, but it was so muggy and gray that I'm not sure if it felt like 14 or if it felt warmer. All that humidity. All right, if we take a look at what's going on across the region, you can see the cooler air affecting Red Lake. Daytime highs dropped to half dozen degrees in Red Lake under clouds, and then they had a few brief showers. Right now, very gray, and they're at just 17. 9 in Pickle Lake, 18 in Sioux Lookout. Still enjoying temperatures in the 20s and with some sunshine. They're under partly cloudy skies in Fort Francis at 26, 24 in Kenora, 22 and 23 in Dryden and Upsala. And then you head north of Lake Superior along the North Shore, very seasonal in Nipigon and Marathon in the mid to high teens. But just a little bit further north, they're already into the single digits at this hour in Greenstone at 8, 10 in Armstrong with a whole lot of mist in that region and a lot of haze. Now, as you head further southeast, we're back into the 20s in Wawa and Sault Ste. Marie under mostly sunny skies throughout the day, but the humidex currently feels like about 29 in the Sault, so very, very mild in that portion. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we are going to drop down to a low of 8 tonight, and showers should begin late in the evening, probably closer to about 10, 11 o'clock, but there's still a chance of thunderstorms with this system, both overnight and into the early morning hours. Winds will be from the east, starting off, gusting up to 40 kilometers per hour, and then tapering off down to about 15 km. So we've got a system coming through. It's going to bring rain tonight. So, you know, this could be the last part of the day that you can go out and do things outside, but it's going to be gray, it's going to be muggy, and there is still a risk of rain, and that's going to continue into much of the weekend, unfortunately. Okay, well, Fiona, and we do know that rain certainly needed to the west of us. We talked about the restricted fire zone in the western half of our region. Of course, thunderstorms not such a great thing, but hopefully it's more rain than lightning